Have you ever been traveling around the US and stumbled upon places with really Dutch-sounding names? Ever wondered why some spots in the USA are called things like Harlem, Brooklyn, or even New Amsterdam? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the fascinating history of why Dutch names pop up all over the US. Let's get started. So, let's go back to the early 1600s. At that time, the Dutch were one of the world's major colonial powers. They were sailing around the globe, establishing trade routes and creating settlements. In 1609, an English explorer named Henry Hudson, sailing for the Dutch East India Company, discovered what we now call the Hudson River. This kicked off a wave of Dutch interest in the area. By 1624, the Dutch had established a colony called New Netherland. It stretched from present-day New York down to parts of what is now Delaware and up toward Connecticut. In these new Dutch territories, settlers from the Netherlands began building cities and towns. They brought their language and culture with them, and naturally, they gave their settlements Dutch names. For example, New Amsterdam was the name of a small Dutch trading post that eventually became, wait for it, New York City. Other familiar names like Brooklyn, which was originally called Brooklyn, and Harlem, from the Dutch city of Haarlem, were established during this period as well. These areas became major trade and population centers. Now, the Dutch didn't stick around for long in the grand scheme of things. By 1664, the British took control of New Netherland without much of a fight, and New Amsterdam was renamed New York, in honor of the Duke of York. But here's the thing, even though the British took over, many of the Dutch names stuck around. You can still find places all over New York, New Jersey, and even Michigan and Illinois with Dutch names today. So why didn't the British just rename everything? Well, for one, some of these places were already established trading hubs with Dutch names. Also, a lot of the population was Dutch-speaking at the time. It just made sense to keep those names around. The Dutch didn't just leave us with names, they also left a legacy in American architecture, agriculture, and even some traditions. If you've ever seen Dutch colonial houses or windmills, that's the Dutch influence. Some towns, like Holland, Michigan, still celebrate Dutch heritage in a big way with festivals and events. So, next time you're cruising through New York or passing through a town like Holland, Michigan, remember that you're traveling through a little piece of Dutch history. What started as a small Dutch colony has left a lasting impact on American geography and culture. Who would have thought? If you enjoyed this trip down history lane, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Drop a comment if you have a favorite Dutch-named place in the US. Keep your curiosity cached. See you in the next video.